Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced SimRacing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
Acosta turned things around last week in New Hampshire by getting himself back on the top step of the podium. However, he has a gap to make up to the shockingly close top 5 in points. Small mistakes might wind up having huge repercussions, considering the lowest any of those drivers have finished was 16th so far. Will another be trimmed off the branch tonight? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 5 of the PRL NASCAR Cup Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. North Wilkesboro brings the drivers back to good old-fashioned short track racing. But this place has so much more to it than it appears. Let's head to our track guide to learn more.
North Wilkesboro is a legend in the world of NASCAR, the very first NASCAR sanctioned track. Before falling into the clutches of NASCAR's expansion of the mid to late 90s, NASCAR Cup cars made 2 trips here a year. Petty, Allison, Waltrip, Earnhardt, Bonnet, Gordon. The list of winners here reads of NASCAR's legends. North Wilkesboro opened as a dirt track, having the same shape that it does to this day. In the late 50s, it was paved. This is when it became the track we know of today. This 5/8 mile oval is known for keeping a lot of speed on entry into those 14-degree bank corners. For a long part of NASCAR's early years, this was one of the fastest short tracks around, and with it, the unique characteristic, partly a result of lack of funds when they first cut the track. You go downhill on the front stretch and uphill on the back stretch. Also, the 2 corners aren't the same radius, but you might not notice that as much at speed. While North Wilkesboro is mostly known for Cup cars, other NASCAR divisions ran here over the years. Grand National had a few races. The trucks were here for 2 races before the Speedway shut down. Modifieds also made some trips to North Wilkesboro. In the attempted restart in 2010, several late model and super late model series held races here, but it wasn't to be, and the Speedway fell silent. Until now. Thanks to the efforts of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and iRacing, North Wilkesboro breathes life again in this virtual world, as it did in 1987. Now it's time for the Blue Ridge Mountains to hear the thunder again here on GSRC.
DJ, this was a place that was requested for years and years on iRacing. Now that we've got it, do you think the Cup drivers will still want it?
Well, I hope they do, Joe, because the addition of North Wilkesboro on the iRacing sim has been absolutely spectacular. Obviously, the old school circuit, known for having straightaways that run both uphill and downhill, provides a real challenge for drivers here. They're gonna have to be careful coming around these 14-degree bank turns, none of the progressive banking like we see on a lot of modern tracks. It's a very classic way to drive in that way. The lower line is gonna be the preferred line around here, although if you set up the car right, you may be able to get up and make a run on the high line. The other thing we're gonna have to keep in mind, this is a short track, so cautions will probably be plentiful, but if drivers have to make a pit entry under green, it is a very perilous entry into this pits right on the racing line, so drivers are gonna have to be especially on their guard.
No real warm-up or cool-down lane out here, the way these short tracks used to be. But let's talk about how things are today, because our broadcast is brought to you by ASR. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com.
It's also sponsored by RaceLab. RaceLab helps to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app.
Today's broadcast is also proudly sponsored by ButtKicker. ButtKicker products add an incredible immersion and realism to any game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Check them out at thebuttkicker.com.
Today's event is also brought to you by SimMSA. Simulation Motorsports Affinity provides many consulting services, from completely customizing simulators to managing teams, individual drivers, and complete events. They're working hard to bring everyone together at one place to support and promote sim racing internationally. Find out how you can bridge the gap between virtual and real motorsports at SIMMSA.net.
And finally, the PRL NASCAR Cup Series is brought to you by NinjaTrader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance. So I mentioned the championship a little bit earlier in the show, and if we take a look at the numbers, you'll see what I'm talking about, the closeness with only 13 points separating them. And honestly, the biggest gap is essentially between first to second and then fourth to fifth, with 4 points splitting them. If you step outside of that, we don't have it on our graphic, but it's still only 22 points down from the leader to Acosta. So it's actually only 9 more points back. When I say a gap, it's not that drastic. He could still get into this. Let's look at the team's championship, though.
Well, Joe, it's just as tight up in the top 3 in that team's championship, with Whataback Racing Black only 7 points ahead of private label Team Hype, and Jamesburg Racing only 11 points back from them. A big gap, though, back to 4th with Car Ramrod 68 points back, but SGE eSports Slipstream only 3 points back from them, so a good little battle brewing there for 4th as well.
For today's event, we keep talking about it's a short track. Look at those laps, 235 that they're going to have to do around here. And they also have no spare car. So with how easy it's going to be to get damage, trying to keep the thing in decent shape, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to do perfect shape, but decent will be critical here today. And of course, they have only 4 sets of tires as well. How important is that going to be? Or will it be all down to track position at this tiny little venue, especially considering we're in the modern Gen 6 cars as well. So this isn't like the cars that actually raced back in '87. We're looking at Trent Dinkle right now, who gets a little bit of a touch on his way into turn 1. We've seen plenty of spinners out there on the circuit during this warm-up session, which has just about a couple minutes left here. And on top of things, DJ, it's a pretty decently warm day on the track surface.
Yeah, it really is. 77-degree air temperature with 101 degrees on track. That north wind blowing with 6 miles an hour. That's not going to really do a lot to cool down. And the 29% humidity, well, they can be thankful for that. But that 101-degree track temperature, that's going to wear out those tires pretty quickly, Joe, on a little short track like this. So I think drivers are going to have to be careful of that with the limited number of sets they have.
Well, we got the time before that qualifying session gets going. Let's talk about the championship situation as well. Haven't had a repeat winner yet in the first 4 rounds. Holly, Long, White, and Acosta are those 4 that have won, all of them within the top 6. The only 2 that don't have a win are O'Brien, who is leading the championship, and Rondoletto, who sits in 5th currently in the points. So some very interesting situations evolving here so far. And this will mark the halfway point in the season. So I'm wondering if we're going to have some drivers who are a little bit more eager to try and get that distance, get a little bit of an edge over their drivers here today, especially considering, like you mentioned, DJ, there could be plenty of opportunities for things to go awry for any one of these drivers.
Yeah, it's very easy to get into a little incident around here. This is a very narrow track. And normally I would say, you know, one of the things you want to do in that is qualifying may not be as crucial. Maybe you want to stick back near the back a little bit, just let things develop in front of you. But the problem is with as narrow as North Wilkesboro is, if there's an accident in front of you, there's a good chance you can get caught up. So I'm going to really place qualifying at a premium here. Not necessarily because of the inability to overtake, but just the ability to avoid any on-track conflict.
Which, as we can tell, is going to be difficult. 67 getting turned around there on the front stretch himself. Just about 20 seconds left. We were a bit concerned through most of the warm-up about James O'Brien, our championship leader, because he was well down in the timing sheets, but he's found a little bit more pace here in these latest laps. He's up to 8th right now. We'll see if he can back that up in the qualifying itself. But then again, it's the race that matters, and that's where most of the points get handed out. However, I'm sure he'd like some of those bonus points in the qualifying if he can snatch those. The checkered flag gets waved on our warm-up session, and the track now switches over to qualifying, where each of them will get 2 laps here, and that is all by themselves on the track. Waiting to see who is going to be among our first to actually take to out there. And it looks like Cowgill and Josh Daniels, 2 of our first. Cowgill going a little quicker, so he should be the first to set a time.
Yes, he will. And as always, you know, I said that low line is the fastest way through here, but as drivers start their laps, they're going to run a little bit higher, try to carry a little bit more momentum. There you can see that speed building for Cowgill as he crosses over the line, 100 or so miles an hour, brings the car down. You don't really want to bring it all the way down to the dirt. You want to just kind of place the hood of the car right in the middle of that white line. Cowgill going to be the first one to cross over the stripe here. Let's see what he's got.
It's an 18.4, waiting for the next one to come across. Scotty Johnson already tops that by half a tenth, so he's got the provisional pole. Now Rondoletto snatches that away from him.
Yeah, Rondoletto, had a little bit of a spin there coming off on the second one, so that's going to be his only lap. Cowgill comes in for another lap. He's going to be able to stick there in 3rd place, it looks like. Waldo Walden able to come in with 3rd. As we watch Aaron Self, here comes Chris Hudson.
As Chris Hudson comes around, he puts himself into 6th, but then gets shuffled down. Now we're getting more and more drivers starting to come out to the track. The interesting thing is, unlike many, in fact, I'm trying to think the last time we've had this situation, unlike many of the recent races, we have no end-of-line penalties. Everybody is allowed to get out there and qualify today, but we're still seeing a number of them sitting in the pits. We got about 3 minutes left, so they could try and take a little long if they wanted, since the laps are just under 20 seconds here.
Yeah, they'll have plenty of time to do that. And some of that, I think, is strategy, Joe. The wind is bouncing back and forth between 5 and 6 miles an hour. Track temperature is currently 103 degrees. I think there may just be some drivers kind of waiting in the pits to see if that track temp drops by a degree or two. And maybe that will help them as we watch Robert Besaw Jr. jump his way up to P4.
Not looking too bad today. The number 3 car on the second row. Is this one going to be any quicker? As he crosses the line, it is going to be an 18.429. That's just about a tenth slower for him. We see Abner Acosta out there. This is his second flying lap. Winner from last week. What has he got underneath him? Oh, the car is just all over the place, though. And the 18.4 that he ran is going to have to stay put, and he actually gets pushed down to 7th now.
And part of that is because Trent Dinkle able to put in a mega lap there of an 18.213. Here comes James O'Brien, as we said, our championship leader. He's currently back in 11th. That's not great for him. Let's see if he can get a little more speed. He can't. That is not a good start for your championship leader.
Wow. I'm kind of surprised by that one, as Pat Harvey, second lap, good enough for 7th place. Holly's out there. There you see him on screen now. This is his first time lap. What's it going to be? An 18.294 is up into 4th place, and he starts to spin it on the second lap, but at least he is towards the front with that lone lap.
And Matthew Long there putting in a pretty decent time. That'll get him 7th place. Also seeing Zemke be able to get in a time as well. We're still waiting for Gagnon, Cossette, Cervantes, Wilson, and Hilton right now. Watching the James Bird Racing driver to see if he can improve.
Long with an 18.362, 200s faster, but he'll stay in 7th place. Hilton and Cervantes are out there. Cervantes just put down an 18.4. That'll be into the top 10 for him. Hilton, an 18.7. He's in 20th. So Gagnon, Wilson, and Cossette, the only ones that look like they have no intention of setting the lap. They could get out there if they go now.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they're doing so. Baron Hilton is able to improve on that second lap, though. The car Ramrod driver, that'll bump him up to 15th place. So a good improvement for there. Still no movement from Gagnon, Wilson, or Cossette. I think they are just opting to start from the back.
I think you're right. Yeah, we are down to less than 30 seconds. That means they are not able to set a time. So our grid is going to be set here for round 5 of the Precision Racing League NASCAR Cup Series race. So we get ready for the session to take over. We'll go through the grid as well as a few onboards that we have for us today. And I am very fascinated to see how this one will work, because I think this is either the first or second time I've gotten to call a race here at North Wilkesboro since it's been introduced to iRacing. Cars now start to grid up. And Trent Dinkle, of all people, is on the pole. Rondoletto will be starting next to him with Scotty Johnson in 3rd. It's Bradley Holly, P4, followed by Waldo Walden in 5th. You've got Besaw Jr. on the outside of him. Matthew Long, 7th. Chris Hudson in 8th. And Cervantes 9th. Then it's Pat Harvey rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, it's going to be last week's winner, Abner Acosta, followed by Joshua Daniels, with Patrick Cowgill and championship leader James O'Brien starting all the way down in 14th. Baron Hilton will be 15th, followed by Mark Kalin. Behind them in row 9, it's Adam Zemke and Charles Sumner. And rounding out your top 20, it's Michael Witt and Brandon Walter.
After that, Aaron Self is the last one to set a time. Wilson Jr., Gagnon, Cossette will round out the fields, gridded up behind them. Just about have everybody on the grid already. So why don't we go through our onboards today? And our pole sitter is actually one of those onboards. This is his first pole of the season for Trent Dinkle. So congratulations to him. Actually only had one top 10 so far. So great chance for him to capitalize. Also, Patrick Cowgill out there for us. And there is his view once again, looking from behind over his shoulder. He'll start from 13th. You've also got the car of Chris Hudson joining us. He'll start from the 8th spot. And of course, we have Besaw Jr. also in here. Robert going to be starting from P6, so just a little jump up from what we saw from Chris. And finally, As is become tradition, we've got Bradley Holly with the most patriotic shirt in the series. As we get ready to go here, Holly starting from 4th. So a lot of our front runners going to give us an onboard here today. Let's hope that they'll have plenty of chances to show us what's going on in those cockpits as they now take off for 2 pace laps around this track. DJ?
Yeah, and this is going to be the first time the drivers just start to try to feel things out a little bit. The track temperature has dropped 2 degrees, but the wind has dropped as well. So they're going to be feeling things out here, just ready to get going green.
Absolutely. What can Trent Dinkle do with this? Does he have a top 5 on the cards? Does he even have maybe a podium or, Lord forbid, a win for that 5:01? Remember, he's got to be fast over the whole race, and so far he's got a lot of quick drivers around him. Rondeletto, Johnson, Holly in there. They're all raring to go and hoping to peel that one out of his hands. We come back up the backstretch, literally up the backstretch as it climbs uphill. The balloons, the virtual balloons being released, don't worry, they are biodegradable here in the virtual world, so they don't have to worry about any of the animals out there that could accidentally get into those. Here goes the pace car. Dinkle's got control and the green flag is out. It's not a great start down on the inside. A much better run for Rondeletto, trying to go around the outside of him through 1 and 2. Can he get the shot off the corner? Still side by side as they come to 3 and 4, DJ.
Yeah, it looked like there that Dinkle tried to hold up the field a little bit, and Rondeletto was just having absolutely none of it. Momentum carrying him around. He's going to be fully ahead by the time they cross the timing and scoring line, and now Rondeletto is going to be in the lead as we start lap 2.
Quickly taking it away from our pole sitter. Didn't even get to lead a lap here. Holly right behind him watching, probably taking some notes there on that restart. And then Besaw Jr. just hovering behind in 4th. Side by side is still between Josh Daniels and Abner Acosta back here in 10th and 11th. Otherwise, it's pretty single file, and it looks like Acosta's going to get that.
Yeah, Daniel's running a very, very high line, not trying to pinch, but there you can see that momentum coming into play mid-corner, but he just doesn't quite have it around the outside. Now that's James O'Brien to his inside right now, your points leader. We still keep talking about him. He is up 2 positions, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Could be he's just biding his time here. Maybe letting the race come to him, not worried about the 1 lap pace, hoping to keep it fast over 235. We're going to look at Matthew Long, who's underneath Waldo Walden in that 84, the white and blue of the 28, sending it right down to that curb on the inside.
And that's real dangerous for him to get down into that. We ride on board now with Chris Hudson. That 28 of Matthew Long, he's got to be careful. If he gets those left side tires anywhere near that grass, that car is going to spin like a top. Waldo very smartly cutting off Johnson, that attack failing.
And the 43 thought he had a chance at it. You can see him drift back into line as he falls in behind Walden. So that'll solidify Rondeletto, Dinkle, Holly, Besaw, Johnson, Long, your top 6. Looking at Bradley Holly, interestingly, doesn't seem to have the pace in these early stages for Dinkle. He's about 1.3 seconds back.
No, he really doesn't. Dinkle and Rondeletto pulling away big time, and I think part of that is, I don't know if it's a defensive maneuver out of the 184, but he just looks like he's running a little bit of a higher line here than some of his competitors, not really diving down anywhere near that low groove, and at every lap, it's just costing him a 10th and a 10th and a 10th.
In the background, you could see Long on the inside of Scotty Johnson. Short run pace of the 28 is looking very good right now. That's a couple cars in just a few laps that he's managed to get himself into P5 now, and behind that is the 84 of Walden swinging out wide, coming off of turn 4. 43 is going to get his nose underneath him. Can he finish the job?
I'm not really sure what Waldo was thinking there. That may have been a little bit of a scare off from Chris Hudson and give that position over to the 43 now. He's going to try to set his eyes forward. Ooh, good mid-corner speed there from Waldo Walden, but not enough to make it work.
A lot of shuffling around, more than I thought there would be this early in the race. And it looks like Acosta and, or excuse me, no, we're looking at the 43. This is Chris Hudson here. in a little battle as he is chasing down Scotty Johnson. But I can report that Acosta behind him overtook the 67 of Harvey that last lap. So another position up for the 5 car.
He did, Joe, but that was the first incident I saw of a little bit of rubbing around here at North Wilkesboro. Rest assured, I think we'll see a lot more of that as we go on, working on lap 13 here around this historic speedway.
Getting word that Holly might not really be as comfortable as he wants to be. He's been riding up high. And whoa, he just had a big moment coming off the corner. We didn't see it on camera, but watching the inside with Long now working, or excuse me, no, the 43 of Hudson working on the 07 of Johnson.
Trying to get to that inside. He's at least got alongside that left rear quarter panel. Now let's see if he can drive the speed down through the middle of the corner, try to blunt off the momentum of Scotty Johnson. He's gonna at least be slightly ahead by the time they cross the stripe, but it's gonna fight back. That momentum working well for the 07. It's not quite done yet, but now it is. Move Chris Hudson into 6th.
Ooh, the 07 dropped back quite a bit. Car didn't look too healthy off the corner. The 84 closes in on him, keeps it tucked down low, but can't get the shot off of 4. Starting to see a bit of a backup here. Wonder if this is because of the 07, now that the 43's gotten by. And whoa, the 84 and the 5 gonna get some side-by-side racing. So is the 67 and the 9 of O'Brien. 2 by 2, it's a Noah's Ark onto the front stretch, but the 5 moves into 8th.
Yes, they do some good scrapping going on there, flying almost in a little bit of a flying V formation there as we look out the back of Abner Acosta. You see these drivers just trying to find what the line is going to work best here. I've got to say what's interesting is James O'Brien, you can see him there in that red number 9 machine. He is really favoring that high line. Now, that is interesting for 2 reasons. One, he's driving in a little bit clearer air than a lot of other drivers. The other thing is riding that high line may save his tires a little bit. So O'Brien may be thinking long game here.
The car does seem pretty decent, running a couple lanes up as he now takes it down into 1 and 2. And yeah, even down there, although great job at diamonding off the corner. That could help him later on in the race, trying to get positions with a run off the corner. Rondoletto, in the meantime, is scampering away with things. Hasn't hit traffic yet, but he's got a full 2.2 seconds over Dinkle, who himself is nearly 2 seconds over Bradley Holly.
Yeah, the top 3 very much spacing out. Rondoletto, though, he's going to have to start worrying about traffic here about 3 seconds up the road in the form of Aaron Self. Now, that's going to cause a real big problem for him. This is a little trifecta battle in the back of the field that we were talking about. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the battle for P3 right here. This is Robert Besaw Jr. putting some moves on Bradley Holly. Exactly,
and Matthew Long has already caught them as he's pushed his way forwards, started from 7th, and is now up to 5th, eyeing a potential podium. Besaw Jr. wants to get there first, though, as he nearly gets to the bumper of Holly.
Yeah, ooh, and Holly looking a little bit squirrely coming off at turn 4 there. Takes a wider line in. I thought he was going to try to diamond off the corner a little bit, but didn't do so, and that's really going to allow an opportunity for Besaw to start to work on a little bit of a run here, and there it is. Comes out. Can he keep the car down? No, he's got to check up a little bit. That's going to give momentum back over to Bradley Holly.
Oh, sending it down once again, and they're going to come together, and Besaw tries to catch it. He somehow gathers the car up. Well, it's a good thing that it is Holly Farms plastered all over this track, because right now Holly is indeed digging, and he's going to keep that 3rd place, but for how much longer?
Yeah, that is Chris Hudson coming up his tailpipe right now to try to see if he can do anything, but hoy, oy, 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 what an amazing save there from Holly.
We're hearing over the radio he's given one word to describe the car, and that is loose. I don't think he wants it to be that way this early in the race.
No, Joe, I'm not exactly an expert when it comes to NASCAR, but normally if you describe a car in one word and that word is loose, it is not a good thing.
Let's watch his wheel here. Usually he's so unflappable here. A little movement coming off the corner. Yeah, a lot of little corrections there as he comes up to the straightaways. Let's see if 1 and 2 look similar.
Yeah, there you see a little bit of mid-corner correction and a lot of little micro corrections on the exit of the corner. That car not handling it all the way he wants to. And now he's got Matthew Long down to his inside. He's got a little bit of a crossover there. You can see it. Going to try to pinch him down on that low line to blunt off some of that speed, but Long's having none of it. They're going to be side by side down the backstretch.
Long is a force of nature today, and as he continues to be able to hold that bottom line, that time he doesn't have the exit he quite wanted, but it was a good look. The way that Hawley is struggling, I have a feeling if Long stays patient, he should be able to try and get by.
Yeah, I think that's true, and definitely just trying to force him. Honestly, if I was Matthew Long here, I would almost think about trying to make a run to the outside, force Bradley Hawley down low. If the car is that loose, that will just amplify room for a mistake.
Take a bit of a Tony Stewart approach, put them where they're not comfortable, and take advantage of that. Ooh, big drift out of that corner from the 184. There you see him on the outside, but he continues to find great exits despite the car looking all over the place. Coming off the turns, this time it's the 28's turn to have a little bit of a mistake.
And Robert Besaw Jr. has seen that happen. He's now tucking up behind the fender of Matthew Long.
We had an incident. The 31 was off in the grass through 1 and 2. Looks like it was a single car incident, so I don't know if we really need a replay on it. Let's stick with that fight for the third spot because it is still raging.
It certainly is. Long still trying to dive down the inside of the 184 and just not able to find that grip low. Gonna do it again there. Now he's just gonna tuck up behind. I think that may be a little bit of a better strategy here. Just try to find the opportunity for an overtake rather than trying to force it down the inside because it doesn't look like it's working at this stage.
Still been trying to tuck underneath, and yeah, it's not really working. I mean, credit to Bradley Hawley in all of this. What a stout defense he's been able to run. And we've been green since the beginning, with already having at least one coming together that we saw on screen between Besaw and Hawley, and then an almost spin at the back of the pack. Are we due for one?
Well, let's not jinx it here, Joe, but it certainly would throw up some interesting fuel strategy. Yeah, I really have to agree with you on this with the 184 of Bradley Hawley. We're seeing how much he's sawing at the wheel, and yet he's still able to get those runs off of corner exit and keep the momentum going on that high side in that Ford NASCAR. It is just absolutely incredible car control for him.
Gonna watch from Besaw here as he gets a front row view of things. Still, every time it looks like maybe he's got the speed, but Long can't find the grip on the bottom side. I'm with you that I think he should try and get to the high side of that 184, see if that works better.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to go, but Besaw here also...
Oh, he gets into the side of him! And the 184 spins around, becomes the first caution. Wonder if the stewards are not going to take kindly to that one. Just gave him that tiniest of nudges, and suddenly the 184 is facing the wrong way uphill.
Yeah, that's not how you want to be pointing on a caution period. Let's go back and check this again, though. Long coming up behind, right up behind him there. Gets a little in. I've got to say that is a little bit of an over-aggressive move from Matthew Long, but by the same token, the 184 did leave space there. There was opportunity for Long to go in. Joe, if I was a steward, I would come on down on that as a racing incident.
Credit to Hawley for keeping it from hitting the wall. But he fortunately falls all the way down to 19th. Now, we do have a lot of cars on the lane. In fact, are we going to get every single one here? It looks like we might.
Yeah, indeed. Pretty much everybody who's on the lead lap coming on in right now. Just waiting to get their service here.
Looks like a few of them that are a lap down are going to try and get that back. Ron DeLetto first out. Patrick Cowgill, who didn't pit, circles back around. He'll come out in second. Dinkle is going to be restarting in third, and Long now in fourth.
Yeah, indeed. Besaw Jr. will be behind him. Rounding out your top 10 on that, looks like it's going to be Acosta, Johnson, Hudson, O'Brien, and Harvey. Waldo Walden looking like a bit of a loser out of all of that. He did not have the best pit stop.
So did Cowgill finally come in? Yes, Cowgill has pitted. Okay, I was going to say, I don't think that's the best of ideas, probably. He might want the track position, but with how tough it's been to try and drive this track, I have a feeling that the drivers will be a little bit greedy on how often they take their tires.
Yeah, I think tires are going to be at the premium here, Joe, and anytime you get the chance to come in, especially at a point like this where I could make an argument this is about a quarter of the way through the race, you're going to want to take them.
Yeah, still got a few more laps before we get to the official quarter mark. I believe it's going to be just before 60 laps that will count that one. And as the drivers now get going, we're hearing the 99 gets a wave round. He had to stop behind Bradley Holly because of Holly being across the track in his path, and he didn't want to run into him. Yeah, so that's what happened. That's why we had cars a lap down, as he was trying to do the right thing. So they're going to wave him by along with, I think, everybody behind him.
Yeah, I believe that's right. It's going to be interesting here to see now, though, is depending, and let's see if Ron DeLetto is able to get the same massive jump that he was able to get last time out. Remember, he just sped away like a bullet away from Trent Dinkle. We'll have to see if Dinkle maybe got a little bit more wise, maybe made an air pressure adjustment into those tires, just trying to get that car to tune out a little bit more. Other thing to keep in mind here, Joe, track temperature is falling. It's now down into double digits, 96 degrees Fahrenheit out on track.
Okay. Well, that'll be appreciated by the drivers, I'm sure. Getting a little bit more into the comfort zone. So they're only waving around Walter, but not Sumner and Self. So I think they were a legitimate lap down, it sounds like, potentially. Try and get some confirmation on that, but now they got to wait for Walter to catch back up to the pack, which he actually is just about there. And then this next time by, I believe the pace car should duck in.
Yes, indeed. There go the lights out. Ron DeLetto starting down to the inside, Dinkle to the outside, Long and Besaw behind him, Acosta and Johnson behind them. We're going to have a whole new battle on our hands.
Ron DeLetto will hold the pole this time. Dinkle, despite losing the lead that quickly, was still in second place by a decent margin. Really had to go back down to Holly, where we had some backup. Pace cars in. Very good jump on that inside line from the 48. And once again, Dinkle finds himself struggling at the green flags because Long is underneath him. Long's looking to try and get him off the corner, hoping for second place here, side by side up into 3 and 4 as those two hold on to one another, but Long just can't get the throttle down on the bottom of the track despite favoring it.
No, he cannot, and you saw on that restart as well, Robert Besaw Jr. taking a mega high line trying to get around that, and that really cost him. He is now falling back under a little bit of an attack there from Abner Acosta, but Matthew Long here not going away quietly. He's trying to keep up the pressure, but what that's doing is allowing for Octavio Rondoletto to set another fastest lap of the race and pull that gap out to about 0.5 of a second.
First battles are between Hudson and O'Brien, and then behind him, quite a few cars involved in some stuff. Harvey, Walden, looks like Witt and Daniels, although it's starting to settle out now. As you watch from above, you can see all the various packs that are still trying to find their preferred line. And I think Hudson is going to have this over the 07 if he can just about get there.
Looks like he got a little bit of touchdown onto the grass, but that didn't slow him down too much. If he can just keep that same line here through the corner, I think he'll be able to do it, slide up the track, and indeed, he's going to have that position. And now it's down to James O'Brien to try to get past the 07.
That's up to 6th for Hudson. The battle that we were watching as well behind them between Kalen and Walden went in favor of Walden. as Harvey and Witt are still side by side. You can see them in the background there as they hope to get that settled, but the 77 of Josh Daniels might make it a 3-car battle. No, in fact, it appears that the 26 of Witt is through and Harvey is dropping.
Yeah, something not going right for Harvey in that 67 machine. He has fallen like a stone through the order here.
Around the long way here in that 77 as Josh Daniels has great momentum. And yeah, I think it looks like Harvey wants to get to the high side, but he hasn't had a clear opening recently. He'll lose another one. 25 of Cervantes, who is fallen well down from where he started. He's in 9th. Looks like he's going to be 13th this time by, though.
I think that's about right. Harvey looking pretty good there down on the low side, but they're still going to be parallel as they come up the backstretch. Harvey diving down in again. A little bit of damage there in front on the back of the 25 for Cervantes, so that may have a little bit of explanation as to why he's fallen back into the field.
Bradley Holly now trying to go around, but he's a lap down. He's just trying to get back onto the lead lap, looking for that lucky dog. And right now, he is the one that is in the best position for that. Sumner and Self, the only other two, 1 lap down right now, and I don't think they're anywhere close to them. So O'Brien, as much as we criticized his pace in the warm-up and in qualifying, he's already up to 7th and next to be able to overtake Scotty Johnson.
Almost a little bit of a hip check there coming into turn 3, just making sure he knew that he wanted that position again. O'Brien's still running a little bit of a higher line than a lot of the guys we've seen around here. A bit of a train forming behind him, though. That's Waldo Walden, Mark Kaelin, and Michael Witt.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent-sized train, to be honest, heading down into turn 1. But we haven't checked in on Long and Dinkle, and Long's been close, but he hasn't been getting his nose underneath quite yet. Wonder if he's kind of backed out of it, remembered what happened with Holly, and decided to just sit and watch for a moment here.
That may be a good call. We're still very, very early in the race.
Oh, yellow. We got a yellow. It's the 25 of Cervantes. And I think this was all his own doing. If we take a look at the replay, yeah, he's going to be on his own. Now, Holly is behind him, still looking to get that lucky dog, which he should get this time by. Out of turn 4 here.
Yeah, looks like he goes. Just a little bit of wheel spin on those rear tires. Almost catches it, and just slow enough to bring out that yellow flag.
Well, we made it to lap 60 here. So we're definitely getting decent mileage in the early stages of today's race. Let's see if nobody pitting in this time. Holly getting the wave around now.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine anybody would really want to come in and waste a new set of tires right now. They just put these on a couple of laps ago, so they're still feeling pretty good. And you're really going to want to have a nice fresh set of rubber if for whatever reason in the last 20 laps or so there's a yellow that comes out. You need to be able to just get on the loud pedal and go.
See Aaron Self saying he's going to be pitting in. I was going to say, I have to imagine, though, at least a couple of the back markers will just top off on fuel, because you might as well. Cowgill, one of them. Self and Cervantes. Did Cervantes actually hit anything?
No, I don't believe he did, Joe.
So maybe he's doing the same, just getting a splash, getting back out there and being on his way.
Yeah, Cervantes didn't hit anything, but as we were watching behind, he did already have some damage to the rear and the spoiler of the car. So maybe getting a little bit of damage repair on that machine as well. Doesn't look like too much of it, but up front, I believe we're getting pretty close to getting ready to grid up and go here.
I think you're right. Also hearing that Cowgill's stop included some damage repairs. So now that Holly's back on the lead lap, this will put him into 17th. And he's got a lot of cars to pass, but the good news is He has a lot of laps to try and do it. Now, we're not too wide. Yeah, lights are still on the pace car, so still got to go around one more time.
Indeed, but there you see Dinkle starting to get ready to do that. Long behind him with Besaw, Acosta, and Hudson, and James O'Brien just continually eking his way forward. Keep an eye on that red number 9.
So where are his rivals then? Bradley Holly obviously way down the order. Long's in 3rd. Elliott White is not here today. And Rondoletto is leading the race. So unfortunately, still has a few drivers that could overtake him in the points the way things sit right now. Long race to go, though. Anything could happen, especially at a short track. The pace car getting ready to peel off. Here comes the 48s. Waiting for the green, and he's on it early. Another great jump from Rondoletto. Last time it was attempted trying to take second from the 28 very early. And as much as he gets inside the 501, he can't make the pass stick. Now he's having to play defense. That's Besaw the long way around, coming off of turn 4, and he's going to get it.
He is, and he very well may bring Chris Hudson with him a little bit as he tries to poke his nose there. No, excuse me. That is Long that's now trying to get up onto it as well. A lot of scuffling going on back here. And so now let's see if Besaw Jr. has anything for Dinkle. Ooh, almost a little bit of contact in the back there between Acosta and Hudson, but everybody nice and clean.
Acosta up 5 positions, rather, since the start. But then you look at O'Brien behind him, and he is up 7 positions. Meanwhile, you can see a little bit of a battle behind them. That's Walden and Johnson going side by side, as our leaders have already decided better to try and work together here in the early stages, all getting single file.
Yeah, and that's certainly going to help them pull away a little bit. The rest of the pack, though, doesn't exactly have that in mind. We've got a little bit of a Noah's Ark battle going on for P9. Scotty Johnson and Mark Kalin side by side, and I believe that is Witt and Daniels side by side as well.
Ooh, very close between the 07 and the 62, almost rubbing fenders there. The 07 gets loose, and it looks like he'll have to let Mark Kalin claim that 9th place. Josh Daniels, does he cut down in front of the 26? Yes, he does. Okay, everybody finding themselves some comfort zone, getting on the roll.
Yeah, Kalin running a little bit of a wider exit there out of turn 2 than I've seen from most drivers, but it didn't seem to hurt him that much. He's now got Walden up ahead of him in his sights.
Wow, it's been a horrible start for Bradley Holly. He restarted 17th and he's fallen to 19th. Not sure what exactly happened there. Have to go back and check to see how he lost a couple positions at the start. Would have thought that by now he'd be aggressive, and maybe it's just the handling of the car. As once again the tail wags as he exits turn 4.
Yeah, that looks like a very, very unhappy car, Joe. Almost drifts up there into the 25 of Danny Cervantes. But Holly trying to keep that car as straight as it'll go. Does he have it? Yes, he does have it cleared off now.
All right, one more spot down for the 184. Just about 17 more to go. At least he's on the lead lap. Looks like a bit of a battle in front of him. That is Zemke to the outside of Hilton.
Yes, it is, and it looks like Zemke's going to be able to hold that down, potentially. That's the 31 there. Excuse me, that's Cowgill. Now comes Zemke. Oh!
Cowgill goes around. The 47 just lightly nudges him. Shouldn't be much damage, but they do get a caution out of it. And that was the 31 for the second time this race, getting loose on his own. Had great heads up by the 47. That was the lightest of contact.
Yeah, it was very, very fortunate there. Let's keep an eye on that 31. Just comes in, maybe a little bit too aggressive of a turn in there. Gets on the power a little much. Just a slow turn. And yeah, that 47 definitely did make contact, but just not quite enough. But we're going to take an onboard here with Zemke.
Zemke sneaked through this one. It's the right place at the right time. Not what you want to see. Oh. Had about a car's width to the outside and nothing more.
Yeah, nothing at all. There is the 57 of Zemke in the pits there. The car Ramrod driver, I'm pretty sure he's going to be getting some repairs on the front of that car as well as some normal service.
Well, he didn't hit anything, I thought, did he? Thought he got through. Yeah, he got through there without any contact. Oh, maybe he... No, you know what? I wonder if there was ghost contact. I'm going back to look at it. The car made a little motion, almost like it had a phantom contact. So I wonder if it caught his suspension just wrong, and that's why he's come into the pits. At least he stayed on the lead lap. He's back out, but he'll restart from 19th.
Yeah, so that'll certainly hurt him, but at the same time, he does have plenty of time in this race to get going. We've still got a bunch of laps to run here at North Wilkesboro. And a lot of good action here, Joe. I still think there's 5 or 6 drivers that have a shot at winning this race and chasing down Octavio Rondoletto.
You feel confident about that? Do you think this isn't really much to go on this early pace? Because Rondoletto's not been touched, basically, ever since he grabbed the lead.
Well, I've got my eyes on James O'Brien and I've got my eyes on Matthew Long. Both of them have been 2 of the drivers that I've been able to see make consistent moves here, and I think that they may, just may, be able to be the ones to challenge that 48.
So Holly's been in twice now, but he's only taken tires 1 of those times. Still has 2 sets left. He's up to 17th. A little bit of damage repair needed on Hilton, so he didn't get away completely clean on that one. They're hoping it didn't upset the engine or maybe damage the radiator. I'm sure they'll be keeping an eye on those temperatures as the race progresses.
Yeah, and drivers and crew chiefs will both be keeping an eye on that. The last thing you want to have happen is an engine blow here late in the race and spoil your chances.
So last couple times, Trent Dinkle just really hasn't been good off the start. Has he learned anything? Can he try and keep Octavio a little bit more honest there? Also, curious if Besaw Jr. could maybe try and do what Long couldn't and get by Dinkle. Green flag is out. Once again, a poor start there for Dinkle. Besaw Jr. to the inside. The 28 maybe looking on the outside. But no, he falls back. The 3 can't get the launch off the corner. He's going to have to fight the 28 instead.
And that 28 looks like he's got some good momentum around the outside, but Besaw able to hold him off. Behind him there, Acosta and Hudson going side by side. Acosta almost giving a little bit of a bump draft there to the 28 of Matthew Long.
They'll be able to get in front of the 43 of Chris Hudson. But wow, great pace around the outside for Waldo Walden, at least momentarily. Now he starts to drop back. It's almost a chain reaction here of cars having to race each other.
Yeah, it really is. You go for an aggressive move and it falls back and comes back to bite you. Waldo now side by side with, I believe that's Chris Hudson, really duking it out here. No, excuse me, that's James O'Brien.
Yeah, who is still making progress forward. Currently looking at 7th place if he can keep Waldo back there, and he does. Great launch on the shallow line. The 9 is up to 7th place. Oh, but once again, the entry, the speedy entry has unfortunately proved to be a slow exit for the 84 as he falls way back.
Yeah, it's pulling him back into the clutches of Kalen and Scotty Johnson behind him. But just look at that speed that O'Brien's got. He's already caught up to the back of Chris Hudson here.
So will we see him continue to claim places? It seems like DJ has faith in him and certainly has shown to be a little bit quicker in the race than he was in the qualifying. Let's watch Scotty Johnson. Did he have an issue here?
Yeah, it looks like he's struggling a little bit with the handling of the car. Let's ride on board with Scotty.
He hit the wall.
Oh, did he? Here he comes down into turn 1. Car just starts to understeer from him a little bit of oversteer there as well. You can see it coming out. Dives it in.
Before that it happened. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Dives it in on that high line. Oh,
there it is.
Big wobble.
Smacked it pretty hard. So that's why he suddenly lost a number of positions. Falls to 11th, and I think I want to say Witt got a piece of him on top of that, but I can't be certain. So a few cars might have some more damage out there. Has to be expected here at a short track. Holy cow, Bradley Holly's decided to finally make his moves. He is up to 8th position, just overtook Walden.
Holy moly, here comes Bradley Holly on a great move there with Walden. He's got a little bit of clear track in front of him. He's now got James O'Brien, and that's really the leading pack there, Joe. So if he's able to catch back up to that, he's right back in this game.
That's impressive. He was down in 17th on that restart, I want to say, and is suddenly up many positions. Oh, speaking of that 17th spot, we got some 3-wide racing at the very back of the pack with the 47 and the 31 along with the 67. This can't last forever, especially since we're hearing that Patrick Calgill's car is a right handful and the 26 is in the pits in the meantime.
Oi, 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 it's a hornet's nest back here. You can see just nowhere to figure out who's going where. 3 wide lines as they run in through 1 and 2. Hopefully starting to settle down here a little bit more. Calgill just trying to be able to run on that high side. He's got a heck of a run there on the 25, but the momentum is blunted.
We're hearing that Calgill may have taken tires recently too, and that's why he is suddenly just whipping by all these cars. No, excuse me, it's Holly. Holly on fresh tires.
Well, that would explain that speed. We ride on board with Calgill. Let's watch his hands. So we heard this car is a real handful. Yeah, look how much steering lock he's having to put into it, even on that high line, Joe. That car is just not a happy car out here at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, pardon me, I got myself confused. It's 5 sets total that they have here in the Cup Series compared to 4 over in the truck. So yeah, Holly has been able to take 2 of them, and he's been using them to fantastic effect. This is on board with Calgill, riding along the backstretch, not doing too shabby himself. Up to 13th, that battle in front of him, that is Scotty Johnson and Adam Zemke.
And they're running side by side. That'll hopefully help Calgill if he can get the car under control. That's the 77 there, or the 07 rather, trying to go on a nice little crossover move. Like the heads up on that if he can get it to work around Adam Zemke. But it looks like Zemke's pretty wise to it, running the momentum line on the high side.
Yep, he's not going to be able to fight back on that one. The 26 did lose a lap with his pit stop, but he's back out and rolling. Have to imagine some of that could be due to the contact that we saw him make with the 07. Looking up at second place, this is Dinkle leading Besaw Jr. Long kind of hovering in the background as well in that 28. That is Dinkle on the left and Besaw on the right.
Yeah, and it really looks like Besaw's not trying to go too aggressive here. He is driving a lower line than Dinkle is, but just not really wanting to push the advantage. We're just about to tick over here on 100 laps down. He knows he's got about another 135 to go, so I think he's playing a little bit of a waiting game here, Joe.
Yeah, we know Long really likes to play to his name and tends to like cars that can have a nice long run, be able to take over later in the race, but he's going to have some friends soon because Abner Acosta and Bradley Holly are now approaching.
They certainly are, and that could really change some things up in the front there. Ooh, that is Holly down to the inside. Remember, we talked about those fresh tires on the 184. Let's see if they pay off. He's able to size side by side as they cross the timing and scoring line. Let's see if he can get the move done here through 1 and 2. Pinches up a little bit on to Acosta, trying to get him off the line, but Acosta having none of it.
Acosta almost looked like he brushed the wall in the front stretch last time, so he'll fall back into 6th place. Holly now with some clear air in front of him takes off from Matthew Long back up into the top 5, and it only took maybe about 60 laps there.
It certainly did, and if we stay green for a while here, that'll really come out to play, because then he will be able to get a new set of tires when everybody else does, and he'll be able to press his advantage here. So now that Holly's there, let's see if he can close up a little bit more on Long, maybe put some pressure on Besaw and Dinkle as well.
Absolutely. Rondoletto, though, once again, just as the class of the field, he's about 2.5 seconds away from Trent Dinkle. Just unfazed. Been green for a little bit now. Aaron Self going to be the first one he's approaching to try and lap. Oh, did Brandon Walter just have a problem? Yeah, Walter just lost some spots as he nearly spun it off of 4. Nobody hit him. He didn't come to a halt, so he keeps going, but 99 having a heck of a moment there.
I'm sure a lot of drivers pretty thankful that we don't have another caution here. Most of them, Octavio Rondoletto, who's funneling out that 2.5 second advantage. Let's give our leader a little bit of love here. The 48 just driving a commanding race today.
Really is. Getting close to the halfway point, too. About 117, laps. And that'll be partway through this evening's event. Down into turns 1 and 2. He's very quickly approaching Aaron Self. I don't think the 18 should cause him any hassle since he's not racing anybody right now.
No, I don't think he should either. And one of the tenements of the Precision Racing League is good, clean blue flag driving. There you see Self just taking to that high line, allowing Rondoletto to go down low. May have cost him about 1/10 of a second, but not enough to really blunt his pace too much.
Certainly getting a little bit more variety in our strategies here. With some drivers, just a handful of drivers on fresh tires while everybody else is kind of running their own thing. In 8th place, O'Brien, did he recently lose out to Chris Hudson here? Because he's now down from 7th, where we saw him earlier. Is behind him, Kalen and Zemke get a little bit of side-by-side battle going.
Yeah,
get a
there
caution.
you go.
And it's Cervantes again. Sorry, the second time I've had to cut you off for Danny Cervantes, who this time was on the middle of the corner. He had some help, though. That's Josh Daniels. Watch that red car.
All right, so here they are crossing over the start-finish line. Yeah, Daniels just gave him a little bit of a touch and a little bit more. One there for good measure. And a third.
Just wanted to make sure, you know. The first one was so subtle, he had to make sure everybody saw. So,
I mean, I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's just you want to make sure you do a thorough job there, so, you know.
That is frustrating for both parties, no doubt. And we got a lot of cars coming into pits, but Bradley Hawley's not one of them. He's going to stay out. That'll give him the lead. Interesting strategy call. He did take tires recently, so his is going to be a little fresher, but now he's going to have the tables turned. He'll have the oldest tires, at least with the front runners. Who's going to be first out? I'm watching Dinkle versus Rondoletto. Rondoletto gets out there. Dinkle, it was very close between Besaw and Long, but it looks like Besaw edged him.
It does indeed, and so this is going to set up some interesting stuff at the front of the field here. We've got Holly, Zemke, and Cowgill, all who stopped around lap 77 coming in. And then you're going to have Rondoletto, Dinkle, Besaw, and all of them who just now stopped on fresh tires. So we're going to see that advantage play out pretty much in real time.
This will be fascinating. 36 lap old tires there for a lot of our drivers. Rondoletto, first one on the fresh ones, and so far has proven to be easily the fastest driver. So I wonder if this is going to be relatively short work for that 48 car to try and pass them on the restart. Valuable information to be gathered, no doubt. And that restart will actually take place looks like pretty much on the halfway mark.
Yeah, I believe it will. We should have one more lap of pacing here. But yeah, this is, I will say, the first time we've really had to see Rondoletto deal with some dirty air. So maybe that could be a bit of a hamperance to him. We've seen that car perform beautifully in clean air, but we really don't know how that Toyota does when it's got some dispersed and dirty air in front of it.
Okay, I think we're getting too wide here. Yes, indeed, lights are off. Now, question is, can those lead cars on old tires get a good start on that rubber? Because that is going to be tricky for them. Temperatures continue to go down, though. Still about 95 Fahrenheit on the track currently. Beautiful day here in North Carolina. The sun shining, but not enough for the drivers to be boiling on the pavement. Pace car is in. Holly's got control, and the green flag is out. He and Zemke are good off the line. Not so much for Cowgill and Hilton as they get swamped by the drivers with fresh tires.
Indeed they do, and one of those is Rondoletto, who is just absolutely on a charge here, already down to the inside of Patrick Cowgill, trying to make that move stick up in front of him. Zemke trying to make a move on Holly. There goes Rondoletto up front. That dirty air, not too much of a problem for him.
Oh, Hilton.
Oh, and there's Dinkle!
Dinkle drifts a little bit high, and ironically, the one that hit him was Hilton, who was another one of those who stayed out, who was falling back pretty quickly. Everybody else looks like they got away with it. So we're going to watch from Hilton's view. Second time he's seen a car spin in front of him and unfortunately made contact. Once again, light contact, though.
Yeah, it does look like there's a little bit of damage to the right front hood of that machine, though. So that is going to be a bit of a problem for him.
He's pitting.
He's pitting to get that repaired.
If I'm honest, DJ, as I was watching that restart, my mind just started thinking this is going to be a caution. The way that they were getting gobbled up by that group, there was just too much chaos going on. Something was going to go wrong.
Yeah, and I really think there that Cowgill was the big fly in the ointment. Holly and Zemke looked like they were able to relatively hold their own, but Cowgill's got some damage on that car already. Doing his best to drive clean and drive fair, but just a little bit difficult there for the 31.
Rondoletto still managed to get up to third in those few laps that he had. About a lap and a half, really. Trent Dinkle naturally having to take some repairs himself. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, he's going to get back out before the leaders get to him. So did Hilton. 26. Yeah, Witt is back on the lead lap, so great job to that team to at least get into the fray. Oh, and I see Scotty Johnson pitting.
Interesting call from Scotty there to come in on lap 119. All right.
I think that's damage repairs. Looking at the car, it's definitely got some damage on it. Not taking tires. This is way too long for fuel. Yeah, just basically banged away at the sheet metal a little bit right before we get the one to go.
Probably a good call for Scotty then, just try to get that car to handle a little bit better. Looks like he'll be able to get out in front of the pace car and stay on the lead lap.
So that means the only driver a lap down is now Aaron Self, sadly. Everybody else is sticking with the leaders here, lap 121. Holly was holding his own, those behind him having a little bit of a tougher time. Zemke remaining in that second spot. What's this restart going to look like? Oh, now we're going to get the one to go. Excuse me, I just saw the lights were still on, but a lot of them have lined up side by side. They're eager to go.
Ready and rearing to go back racing here at North Wilkesboro. We'll be going green on lap 123. Let's keep an eye on that 48 machine. Just how much speed can he get going on the restart?
Interesting note, though. We're hearing from teams that they are good to go to the finish on fuel. So any pitting from here on out has to be either getting repairs or maybe taking a risk on tire strategy. So watch out for that. Watch out for this pace car, which is going to let go of Bradley Holly, and he goes very early. Green flag is out. Of poor start for the 57, and it looks like Octavio Rondoletto is going to be able to not only get underneath him, he's going to finish the pass out of turn 2 immediately. 57 now down to third, but behind him, it's Cowgill who's on the same strategy, and it's Besaw Jr., the next one up with fresh tires.
Yeah, Besaw able to get by him pretty easily, and now it looks like there's going to be more steaming on through. I think Matthew Long Oh, that's almost 3 wide there with the 43 of Chris Hudson and Mark Kalin.
Esau Jr. is doing a fantastic job up here. Certainly seems to like this track today. Oh, and the battle for the lead is on. Here comes Rondoletto quickly up to the 184. If Hawley can just hold on for a little bit, at least keep this second place, maybe they'll get another caution soon for him to be able to pit and get good rubber, have this track position back.
Hopefully, but that is Rondoletto fully into the lead here. And oh, here comes Besaw down on the inside of Bradley Hawley as well, trying to make a move there. Little bit squirrely, had to get off the line.
I think it was Besaw that ran into him last time too, nearly spun and had to catch it. This one a little bit more under control and with a little bit more grip underneath him. But Hawley's not giving it up. He tries to fight. Nothing doing against those fresh tires. The 3 is into P2.
And now he's got to watch out for Matthew Long behind him. Looked at 184 drifting up the track a little bit. Long smells some blood in the water. He's going to start pushing for it as well, but not able to get it done there on that lap. He's going to have to take another shot here. He's just able to get down, use that grippier rubber to get a little bit more of the track to his favor, going down to the inside again through 3 and 4.
I wonder if he's going to get freight trained here because now they got Kalin coming up behind. O'Brien is in there. If he's caught on that outside line, this is going to be tough running for Bradley Hawley. The multi-time champion is giving it everything he's got. Almost looked like he banged the wall exiting too.
Almost did, and there I think, I thought the move was going to be completely done there for Matthew Long. Not quite. Kalin had to check up a little bit as they came around through the corner. That's going to allow James O'Brien to catch up the back of that purple machine, but now Matthew Long fully ahead and into a podium position.
Now O'Brien up to 6th himself, and Hawley continues to fall. Wasn't he in about 8th place when before that caution? And somebody's going downwards in a hurry. That looks like Daniels.
It is indeed, but I'm not seeing a yellow out on the track.
Oh, he blew his engine.
Oh, no.
Blew his engine down into 1. Are they shifting into the corners here?
They shouldn't be, Joe. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Oh, and Kalin just lost some. Here, let's listen. Popped. Well, Mark Kalin's now down to 9th as Walter Walden's to his inside. Not sure what happened there as we were watching the replay. And there you can see, and now O'Brien able to get up to 4th as Bradley Hawley P5 and just denies Chris Hudson for a brief moment.
Yeah, but I think Hudson's going to be coming on to that alternate strategy by Hawley. Not looking out to be the best idea here. The other guy who was on that strategy with him, Adam Semke, he's all the way down in 10th right now.
Hudson gets underneath. Another one through. Abner Acosta says, I'd like a piece of that. I want some inroads on this championship. He sits in 7th place, but he can't get the traction off the turn. As we ride on board with him, there goes Hawley drifting high. Acosta trying to keep it down low, and he doesn't keep the overlap, but coming back into turn 1, sends it in deep. Maybe a diamonding off of the corner there for the 184, keeps him in contention.
Keeps him in contention. I think that was a big checkup there from Acosta as he was about to drift up the track. There, it's a little bit more aggressive, almost elbows out move from Abner Acosta. He's going to have a nose ahead as they dive into turn 1. Let's see if he can keep it here. Those fresher tires coming into play. He's got a nose ahead. No, he doesn't. That's Hawley still considering to fight him off.
And that one's done now. But Hawley's fighting tooth and nail. He's making sure that any driver that gets by has to use up some stuff to get through, just to make sure that he evens things out as much as he can. Unfortunately for him, he's still been demoted down to 7th. This is Walden just behind him, next in line to try and overtake.
Yeah, and it's just going to keep happening, I fear, here unless Bradley Holly gets a new set of boots on that car. Look how close Walden got to that left rear fender, pushing really hard through here, trying to get it. There he goes, pushing again. They're going to have a little bit of an overlap as they cross over the start-finish. Oh, contact!
And Holly, oh no. Holly goes completely around. He got a little bit of a touch. Thankfully, everybody else able to avoid major contact. I think that was Zemke who just got into him. And it was Walden that initiated the contact. Did Dinkle, though, have an incident? Oh, yeah, Dinkle was an unfortunate victim in this. 57 trying to take avoidance. Yeah, oh, just smashes the outside wall there.
Yeah, and that was just an unfortunate circumstance. The 57 just coming up into the back of Trent Dinkle as they all tried to avoid everything that was going on. That was Zemke that just tagged him. You see that big hit on the outside retaining wall for Trent Dinkle.
The irony of all of this, DJ, is it sends him to the back of the pack again, even though he can finally come in for tires. It all kind of came to naught for the 184 on that strategy. It was valiant, but the effort was scuppered by just the lack of grip and the chaos that it caused around him.
Yeah, indeed it was just not exactly what he wanted. There we see one of the cars getting that lucky dog wave around. We are here though, Joe, at lap 143 on track, so under 100 laps to go here at North Wilkesboro. You know, I said earlier that James O'Brien may be able to catch Octavio Rondoletto. I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
Yeah, everything I've seen from him today is looking like he's the man to beat. We'll see if he is in these final 100 laps, but in the meantime, I think we're going to step away for a very short break here. We'll come back with the final moments here in the PRL NASCAR Cup Series Round 5 at North Wilkesboro. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro. Green flag is out. Rondoletto once again making an easy charge up ahead, but a difference in pit strategy. About half the field took tires, half did not, and we immediately get a caution. Unfortunately, I see David Wilson Jr. a part of that in the 39. Started just ahead of him with the 07 of Scotty Johnson, the initial one to get pushed around. 43 of Hudson as well, and then everybody behind kind of just piles into this one. There it is, you can see, there's the touch.
Yeah, just a little bit of a touch there and a little bit of a domino effect that you expect to get at a short track. So we're going to ride on board with Hudson for this. Let's check out this angle, Joe.
Already some damage on Scotty. There's the touch. Oh. He gets straightened out a fair bit, but not everybody else was so lucky in the incident. Almost think that Hudson might get a little bit of a finger wag from the stewards as well on that. Trying to get his nose in on the bottom there. This is great news for Holly as he gets more chances to try and get some repairs after that last damage. That was a pretty big hit that he took. So he's trying to get every single chance he can in. So our drivers that did not take tires last time include Rondoletto, Besaw Jr., O'Brien, Acosta, Walden, Dinkle, Witt, Harvey, Hilton, and Sumner, along with Scotty Johnson. Those that did take tires, Long at the front of them, Kalen, Walter, Hudson, and Cervantes. Now, a bunch of them sadly got caught up in that wreck, so sort of nullifies whatever they were hoping for out of that.
Indeed, and one of the things that I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get to see is we saw a little bit of pressure there from James O'Brien trying to come forward on Robert Besaw Jr. Besaw able to close it down pretty well, but obviously, as we talked about, our championship leader starting well in the back. He's up 11 spots right now, so obviously a lot of speed in that car. He wants to get it as close to the pointy end of the field as possible.
Okay, so 150 laps in now, 151 really, as the drivers watch another of our lucky dogs go through. Lights are out on the pace car. See if we can keep this one going green. Now we're starting to get things slowing down, and we've only got 30 minutes left in today's race with over 80 laps to go. This is getting kind of tight for our drivers. As the pace car comes in, Rondoletto is away. Green flag is out. Besaw Jr. in second, but he's got O'Brien underneath him. What does James have for this? He's still looking for that first win of the season, but only driver to finish in the top 5 in every single race so far.
Yeah, but look at the moves that Besaw Jr. is starting to put on Rondoletto here, trying to really fight ahead. Had a couple of good runs going into the corner. Very impressed. Behind them, I see Trent Dinkle and Waldo Walden swapping as well.
Kind of amazed that Dinkle is this far up the order. Here in 5th place, Walden to his underside. We watch from on board James O'Brien, still trying to keep up, or on board with Besaw Jr. rather, trying to keep up with Rondoletto. But doesn't look like that's happening. Looking at Witt and Walden. And Waldo, unfortunately, not able to hold on. He lost both Dinkle, and Witt is able to clear him.
And it looks like for a second there that Pat Harvey may have had a run on him as well. So that number 84 machine just looking like it's fallen back through the order big time.
And unfortunate with the pace that he was showing. Seems like the gambles that he took have bit him, and that might hurt in the championship. He came into this thing in second, and I said it at the top of the show, consistency is what's allowed these drivers to be so close to one another. One little slip up will force them down the order. 10th place, right in the middle of this group. You can see how close they're fighting, including Kalen ducking underneath the 67 of Pat Harvey.
Yeah, Kalen trying to have a good route in there, and that's Chris Hudson trying to go down the inside of Charles Sumner, seeing if he can get anything flying there. Oh, they're going to be side by side off the line. A little bit more momentum there, though, for Sumner.
These are some of the drivers that did not take tires. Harvey on 46 lap old rubber right now, getting swallowed up. Hearing somebody saying wrecking in the background. Wilson Jr. is off, and it was a hard hit from the looks of it.
And there, indeed, the yellow flag does come out again for Wilson Jr.
Second time he's seen some issues. Now, this is very weird. The 57 gets some ghost contact from miles away from him, but it's from behind. Car just comes to a halt. There you can kind of see it there. And then, unfortunately, the 39 just smashes the metal Armco in a hard way. I think that's day done for him.
Yeah, the front end of that card is pretty buried up. We've got a big amount of hitters here coming in, Joe. Seeing James O'Brien, Cervantes, Acosta, Sumner, Witt, Zemke, as well as Walden. So we now have some varying pit strategies here with about 75 laps to go.
Okay, and I'm seeing a few of them having been in 4 times, which if they took tires every time, that would cost them all of them, but hard to say if that is what they did or if they took fuel only on some of those. Walter, and Dinkle's been in 4 times already, but I do think he had to come in for some damage repair, so most likely he still has a set left. He's still running 3rd up there.
Yeah, he is indeed. So we're going to have to see what these guys with the fresh set of boots can do as they work their way through the field. Gonna be interesting. We saw this play out earlier a little bit with Holly, and that really helped him. Is that going to be able to help guys now like O'Brien, Acosta, and Witt?
Good news for Holly is, remember I mentioned the top 5 none of them have finished lower than 16th this season. Holly just went to 16th. He was 15th, and that's still with taking repairs. Now, we don't know if that engine is 100%. We've been hearing rumors that he doesn't feel like it is, which could make it hard. Now he's fallen to 17th. Wonder if he is going to wind up with the worst finishing position for this top 5 group now.
Yeah, he very well might. That car has taken some serious licks throughout the day. But here come the cars getting ready to form up. I believe we should see the lights go out here, unless I am greatly mistaken.
Yep, lights are out. So they are going to double file. Now, last time Besaw Jr. at least gave a good couple goes at it, gave it the old college try, but still couldn't overtake Rondoletto. Had he picked up anything last time? Can he try and maybe make the overtake? If he does, based on the pace that we saw, he's going to have a hard time keeping the 48 behind him.
Certainly is. We've seen him in and out of dirty air, but here we go.
Pace car is in. Rondoletto is away. What's the 3 got for him this time? A little bit of battling behind them for 3rd between Dinkle and Kalen. And the 3 tries to send it in deep, but that really bit him. He falls back. He's not going to have too many chances to try and attack again here on this initial start. Way on the high side, that is Kalen with a huge head of steam, and he'll be able to take 3rd away from the 501. Now Long wants to try and do similar as he pulls up alongside Dinkle.
Yeah, trying to take some away from it, almost sideways as both of those cars. They're going Noah's Ark here, 2x2 in the back, riding on board there with Dinkle, as that's O'Brien coming up behind them now as these two continue to be side by side. Long to the inside, Dinkle to the out, and it looks like Long's got it. Hudson's in the wall.
He catches it. He catches it, so no caution, but he loses a ton of positions. Chris Hudson got shoved out of the way by Michael Witt as he was trying to catch the car with a slide.
Let's check out this replay running on board with the 43 here on the outside. There you see O'Brien gets up fully ahead of him. He's going to dive down now into the corner. And this is where there's that tap in the back. And what a catch from the 43.
Oh, did you see how fast that traffic came by him? So very lucky that that did not go worse. O'Brien, if we go to him, Matthew Long's under attack from the number 9. James so desperately wanting that victory. He's trying to climb his way up the field, and he has much fresher tires than Long. Long has fresher tires than Kalen, but it is James who is sitting the best currently.
Exactly, and James has really been able to do a good flyer there. He's gained 4 or 5 positions since that last restart. He's going to be praying for this thing to stay green to the end. Gets a little bit pushed out of the way there because of Mark Kalen in front. That's going to hamper him a little bit in trying to get by Matthew Long.
Here's the problem. We're down to 22 minutes left on the clock. We still got 65 laps to go here today. There's a long way. Even if we stay green, we might be finding ourselves limited by time. So James O'Brien has got to make sure and use everything he can now, just so he doesn't wind up running the clock out and not having the time to try and overtake the leader.
I think that's exactly his strategy here, is he has got to use up every bit of tire that he can. I don't know his exact number of pit stops. He's gotten 3, so he's still got another set. If there's another yellow that comes out, he can come in and take another set of tires and be in great position here. Now he starts to work to the inside of Kalen.
Gets underneath the 62. Kalen not giving it up easily. Keeps him down low. Seems like accelerating off the inside of the corner is tricky, even with fresher tires. And these are only 13-lap-old tires on that 9.
Yeah, he's really struggling with it. Whoa, but there goes Kalen into a big spin. He catches it amazingly.
Oh, how did he do that?
I have no earthly idea, but that's one of the most impressive things. I don't even think he hit the wall, Joe.
No, this was Tokyo Drift all the way through North Carolina and just keeps on going. Unfortunately, the tires are a mess and he's already being hounded by a bunch of cars behind him. Sorry.
No, absolutely incredible and fantastic news for James O'Brien, who now finds himself on the podium. But there you can see that battle shaping up behind. That's Acosta trying to fight to the inside of Kalen.
Acosta, another one who is on fresh rubber, having pitted onto that last caution. Hasn't been able to make inroads quite the same way that O'Brien and Witt have, although Witt is right in front of him. Oh, and Cervantes in the background hits the wall. In fact, did he run out of the incident limit? Oh, wow. Cervantes had too much beating and banging today and has disappeared into the ether.
And we have a caution out on track, Joe, and I think this means everybody's going to be coming down pit lane for a new set of boots.
Getting an update. It was not the incident limit. Cervantes exited as quickly as he could. So, did not go over the incident limit. That's good to see. I'd hate for that to be the way that his day ended, although still a bit miserable no matter how you spin it. And everybody's in this time amongst the leaders except James O'Brien.
Joe, I'm not sure I agree with that strategy call out of O'Brien. He still has another set, I think. I would have gone in for tires.
This is a hard call. I'm not really sure. Now, when was the last time we didn't see Rondoletto up at the front? It was one of the last times that we had the split calls. Rondoletto's out. Looks like Besaw will be the next one behind him, then Long. And, ooh, did Kalen beat out Dinkle? He did. No, he did not. No, Dinkle just goes by him. So, those who did not pit this time: O'Brien, Witt, Acosta, Sumner, and Hilton, with about 19 to 21 lap old tires amongst them. So they're not too terribly old. I actually kind of like this call. Now, Rondoletto might catch up to him and might overtake him, but this is going to give O'Brien that valuable track position.
It certainly will, and his one saving grace is that he does have some good drivers there in the forms of Witt and Acosta and Sumner to be able to maybe try to hold up Rondoletto a little bit.
If we get a spate of cautions, that's going to be very hard for Rondoletto to try and make overtakes. We've seen in the past when the cars are getting close like this, DJ, we see a lot more yellows start to come out, and we've only got 18 minutes left on the clock. Yeah, I think this is basically completely strategic from the 9.
Well, we'll have to see if it plays out for him or not. 18 minutes to go, 18 minutes to decide. That car's looked quick all day in race trim. Let's just see if this strategy call from the championship leader continues to keep him in the championship lead.
55 laps to go for our drivers. Pretty certain we are not going to see this one go to the full race length. I doubt there are many who are going to be shocked by that, with it being North Wilkesboro. We've only, though, lost 4 cars out of our 22 starters: Daniels, Wilson Jr., Zemke, and our latest is Cervantes.
It's a pretty impressive record, but 17 minutes to go as race control is sitting over the radio, and control of the field for the first time today goes to James O'Brien.
Now that he's got clear air, what can he do? Michael Witt's beside him, but we haven't really seen the 26 be that big of a player for much of the race. Pace car is in. Ooh, but Witt gets a very good start alongside the 9. O'Brien is able to clear him. Here comes Acosta as well as he clears Sumner, but Rondoletto making fast work of these things. He's up to 4th place.
He certainly is. Acosta cuts him off a little bit there on the entry into turn 4, but that's Rondoletto still trying to keep his nose down to the inside. There, he's got it. He's going to start to fight for that 3rd place position.
Acosta's trying to hold on as best he can. The green and white 48 on the bottom line has the shorter line. He accelerates off a lot better. That'll get him 3rd place. Long going to try and follow him through another one who just stopped for tires that time by. 48 already caught up to the back of Witt.
Ooh, but a big wiggle out of Rondoletto, but Witt gave him plenty of space there. I'm pretty sure that James O'Brien is not going to be happy about that, because now Rondoletto is going to be breathing down his neck.
Boy, a quick move from the 48, letting Michael know that brevity is the soul of Witt, and the 28 doing likewise as he now gets into 3rd place, and they start to approach our leader.
Oh, and there's a little bit of a crossover move there from Rondoletto trying to get down to the inside. Is he going to be able to have it, or is that going to be enough for O'Brien to hold him off? No, Rondoletto has the inside line. Those new tires playing out, and it's going to still be a drag race, though, between him and Michael O'Brien.
Still 15 minutes left to go in this race, so O'Brien's still got time, but he hasn't got the tires. Can he hold off both of them, or is this going to be an easy pass for Long as well? He is now alongside that red and white car. Down into turns 3 and 4. Rondoletto, your new leader, and we get another caution. Oh, it's a big one with Barron Hilton and Scotty Johnson.
Oh, yeah, there you can see the smoking wreck in the background. Let's check out the replay on this, Joe. That's the 47 there. You see that's Barron Hilton coming around. Now this is going to happen on the back stretch. Comes in out of turn 2. Is that contact there with Waldo? Yep, there it is, and boom.
And if we want a good onboard, the 184 did a beautiful job getting around this. Watch from Holly's perspective. Track is almost completely blocked off here, so he just goes all the way to the grass.
Sometimes if the grass is there, you got to go on the grass.
Well, as he does a little bit of a trimming job, that'll keep him 11th place, actually get him up to 11th place. Wow, what a job from Bradley Holly to mitigate everything that he's had to go through here today. This is why he's a multi-time champion, could potentially still have a top 10 after all is said and done.
Yeah, exactly, and that is the kind of stuff the championships runs are made of. Drivers cannot just get frustrated and quit out of the race when they get wrecked. You've got to stay in it and scrap for every single point. That's what Holly's doing today.
So looking at the top 6 in the points and looking at our top 6 here on the track, Rondoletto is in there, Long is in there, O'Brien and Acosta. So 4 of the top 6 in the points are in the first 4 positions out on track right now.
Oh, this is what you love to see for a championship battle. Now just remember that O'Brien and Acosta are the 2 that are on an alternate strategy. They've got 19-lap older tires than Bisa and Dinkel behind them, so are they going to have trouble keeping up?
Well, it may have evened out a little bit. We'll see what the tires are going to be like here. Certainly seemed like both James and Abner could do quite a bit to defend, but just really couldn't retain it. Just they could slow them up as best they could, trying to hold the outside. Drivers that came in that time include Witt, Sumner, Johnson, of course, to get some repairs, Walden, Hilton, another one of those that was involved in it. I think, yeah, lights are out, so we're going green this time by.
Indeed we are. Front two here, Rodinelletto and Long. They are going to be on fresh tires. O'Brien and Acosta will not.
Here we go. 12 minutes left. We're definitely not going to make it tonight. Rodinelletto is going to be potentially the first driver. No, he hasn't won yet this season, as the green flag is out. So he could be our 5th different winner this season out of 5 rounds down underneath of Long. O'Brien's trying to challenge him. The 28, remember, has much fresher rubber. This is a good test to see if he's worn them out in that last spate. And it looks like that's not the case. He is going to hold off the 9. However, Acosta easily ahead of Besaw.
For the moment, though, Besaw coming up on the inside of Acosta, trying to make a move there to be able to claim P4. They're going to be side by side into 3, almost banging doors with each other. And that's going to be, I think, Besaw barely at the line. Give him another corner. He may just have this.
Yeah, laps about 17, or tires about 17 laps old, rather, for the number 3. Yeah, the 5 unfortunately has to give up the ghost. Can he get down in front of Kalen? No, Kalen's going to get his nose underneath, but Kalen has wheel spin. And so Dinkel is trying to recover and get up into this too.
Yes, he is. And remember, this is really all caused by Acosta and O'Brien being out of position with those older tires. Ooh, Acosta really trying to give a good pinch there to Kalen, but it's not working. That behind is Dinkel just trying to find a way by if he can.
Kalen started this race 16th. He's looking at 5th. If he can hold on to this, we're watching from onboard Dinkel. Seeing his perspective, leaning into the corner, down into 3 and 4. He sees an opening, but he comes back in line behind the yellow car.
Yeah, he's just plugged up here. There's nowhere for him to go.
As that's happening in front, that is Besaw that you see going side by side with O'Brien, trying to peel the 3rd place away from him.
And I think he just might have it, as Brian's got a little bit more momentum at the line. But with those older tires, we could see a better jump for O'Brien, or for Besaw down on the inside. But man, James O'Brien doing a great job of holding here on the high line.
Same thing with Acosta. Managed to force wheel spin out of Kalen once again last lap. And that's why he still hasn't got the job done there, which is continue to box in Dinkel. And O'Brien and Besaw side by side for a few laps now. If they get another caution, let's not forget that O'Brien could potentially have his nose ahead. No, not right now, though. Sends it in deep down into turn 1. They almost bang wheels. In fact, they do, and back goes the 9.
Yeah, that scared him off on that one, I think, is what it was. So move Besaw up into that final podium position.
Defense from the number 5. He held off Kalen. Kalen's backed off and is now behind him.
Oh, and a little bit of a swipe across the nose there to just make sure he wasn't going to try it again. That may even open opportunity for Dinkel. I see a little bit 2x2 in the back there. I think that's Holly and Walter as they go at it. But let's see what happens here with this battle for the last of the top 5.
Across the 200 lap mark. Still trying to duck underneath him. Can't get the overlap. Mark Kalen with Trent Dinkel breathing down his neck. Doesn't want to waste too much time here. He could pin him in before when he was side by side with the 5. Not so now.
No, not so much now at all. There he goes for the move, it looks like. That's Acosta giving him an open door. Kalen's going to try to go for it, try to minimize that wheel spin, but he's still got a little bit of it off the line. Is that going to be enough for Dinkel? No, they're going to be close. Kalen's got to check up so he doesn't ride up all the way up into Acosta, but he's able to keep it under him. They're side by side across the line.
He wants this one desperately. Kalen now through, but he wiggles. He goes high. The 5 gets right back underneath him, and instead he loses a place. Dinkel into 6th.
But Dinkel doesn't just want 6th. Dinkel wants 5th. He's now trying on Abner Acosta down on that inside line.
Oh, did Acosta hit the wall there? Oh, he's going to hit the car, though. And they both go high. Still, Kalen can't get underneath them. This is bringing Hudson into the mix. And not willing to give up, the 5 is making a hell of a race out of this.
really is. This is some inspired driving from Abner Acosta, holding it around the outside. Dinkel's got a nose ahead as they go in. I think that may be enough to hold it on. Is it? Yes, it is, but he's immediately going to go down, try to chop to the inside of Dinkel, and he's going to spin him!
Dinkel into the outside, and he's going to get hit. Oh, thought he'd be clear, but two cars fanning out. One of them was going to get him, and it was Brandon Walter in the end. Dinkel getting on the radio, unhappy with that move. Let's watch this, DJ. Tell me what you think.
Well, the immediate move here is a defensive move, I think, rather than aggressive. He didn't want to go down to the inside and let Kalen by. There, I think that was a little bit on Acosta. I'm not going to lie, that is a little bit of an over-aggressive move. But at the same time, you're coming down here, 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go. You've got to go for it. There's a little bit of a door in front of you, and you got to walk through it.
Big hit there from Walter, unfortunately. A couple drivers faking about pit stops, but nobody taking them because we're down to 6 minutes to go. Oh, Walden, I take that back. Walden is in. Walden, though, has severe damage on the nose.
And so now we're going to be able to re-rack here just a little bit. One more chance to see if anybody's got anything for Rondeletto, but I think we've seen time and time again that the answer to that is quite simply no.
Yeah, I as great as Long has been, I don't think he's got the pace. 48 has been on another planet today, and he's only got to last a few more laps because once we get going green, probably going to be about 4 minutes left on the clock. 3 laps a minute. That's about 12 laps. It'll be just shy of the full race length if we stay green.
Yeah, indeed. So a little bit of that clock management coming in at this point. Drivers just getting ready to go there. Hopefully it stays green to the end. We can see a couple more of these good two-wide battles that we have been privy to this entire race.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case for sure. So where do our championship hunters now sit? Rondeletto still at the front, Long in there as well in second. O'Brien still in third, and Acosta still within fifth. But he was having to fight tooth and nail to hold every position he could, which is frankly massively impressive. I can't believe he didn't lose about 5 more spots than he did.
It shouldn't be possible what Abner Acosta just did, holding on with older tires like that around the outside, but it was very, very good driving. And my hat's off to him.
So we're getting a brief here from the chief steward, trying to ask them to try and keep it clean so that we can finish under green here. Another caution actually might finish us out with maybe a 1-lap run because I think they get it going if they get a caution here at the end, but it is not a green-white checkers. We're double file. Rondeletto only has to get a good start and hold down the fort for a few laps. We are actually going to be less than 4 minutes. This is just about 3.5 minutes left to go. Pace car is in, and Rondeletto is away. Long gives it the best shot he can, but he can't stick with the green and black car. Besaw Jr. fighting with O'Brien. 55-lap old tires for that number 9.
He's making it stick around the outside. He's got some good momentum there, but I think that inside line's going to carry O'Brien a little, or carry Besaw a little bit more. But there is no lack of fight in James O'Brien. He's trying to keep it up, but now Mark Kalen may be taking a look around on the outside.
And Kalen may have finally found the trick to get around the 5. He's been trying for so many laps, and Bradley Hawley's already up to 7th here. Yes, Kalen finally gets the job done. 2.5 minutes left to go now as we ride on board. Hawley thinking about trying something, and he's going to have the outside line on his rival once again.
He's going to try to go for a little bit of a slide up the track there for Acosta. That's a good, clean move. Ooh, late dive down there for Holly. He's going to be sideways. Catches it, but that's going to spin Acosta.
And that's a caution with a big wreck, unfortunately. Harvey involved, Holly, Acosta, Sumner, and poor Walter once again. 2 minutes left on the clock. Will they restart it with a one-lap dash, or is this it?
Well, we're going to watch the replay of this, of what happened here. As I said, this was a very late maneuver by Holly down the inside. Didn't get it wound up enough, caught it, and then got into the side of Acosta, and that just caused a big old-fashioned kerfluffle there coming in turn 2.
You know, that was a very un-Holly-like move for him to make. I know he wants to get as good a finish as he can with how tight things are in the championship. I'm surprised that he risked that.
Yeah, I am too. It's not exactly the move that I think I would normally see him do. Maybe a little bit of red mist coming through.
The bad news for him and Acosta is that sent both of them way down the order. They are going to be able to try and trundle around here onto yellow. But Rondoletto, Long, and O'Brien are going to capitalize and probably have a pretty big jump in the championship out of this. We are down to less than a minute to go. And I believe the lap times, let's see, how long are the laps under caution here? Looks like about 41 seconds that they're going around. So white flag should be next time by. We'll see if that's what they're given.
All right, it's all here to see if we're going to finish under yellow or green here on the backstretch, riding on board with your dominant leader of the day, Octavio Rondoletto.
And again, if Octavio does win this, which is looking likely, even if they do get a run to the finish, he'll be the 5th different winner, joining the likes of Holly, Long, White, and Acosta. I'm not getting the white flag call. We're ticking down to 0 now.
But the lights are still on the pace car, Joe, so I think this is the order we're going to be ending up finishing in.
Now we're seeing the white flag on our timing and scoring. So we'll see if they give us the checkered flag or not this time by. They only will make it to lap 223 here, which is a valiant effort, but about 12 laps shy of the full distance. As they come around, checkered flag comes out, and Octavio Rondoletto will become winner number 5 in this season. He'll be joined on the podium by Long and Besaw Jr. But what a crazy race that was. You wouldn't expect anything less from North Wilkesboro. We're going to have to take a quick break. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro Speedway. We just watched round 5 here of the PRL NASCAR Cup Series, and Octavio Rondoletto joins the winners list by spending some time in Victory Lane here in North Carolina for the Juncos racing team, officially associated with the IndyCar effort there. Matthew Long followed him home in second place as Robert Besaw Jr. gets a well-earned podium in there as well. James O'Brien has to wait another week for another victory, but from 14th to 4th is no mean feat. Maybe he needs to work on his qualifying if he wants to get that elusive win. Kalen followed him home as well in 5th as Hudson was P6. Michael Witt from 19th to 7th, kind of sneaking in late in the race and becoming a factor. Trent Dinkle went from the pole down to 8th as Scotty Johnson finished 9th and Walden wound out 10th.
Abner Acosta, courtesy of a late race spin, came home in 11th, followed by Aaron Self and Pat Harvey. Brandon Walter was 14th, followed by Bradley Holly and Charles Sumner in 16th. Baron Hilton, your last driver to finish on the lead lap, with Patrick Cowgill finishing 2 laps down and Cervantes and Wilson not finishing the race.
And the rest of them DNF. So that takes us to our winner here today, Octavio Rondoletto. Octavio, congratulations on the win. What did you have underneath you that gave you so much speed? It seemed like nobody really had anything for you as soon as you got the lead.
Wow. Thank you, guys. I'm really, really happy with this result. Wow. I really enjoyed it. I'm really happy with the team, with our sponsor, BC Workshop, who provide the great car we had today. I worked a lot of hard work to the win and I'm finishing first. Yeah.
It looked like some hard work out there as you really pulled some impressive gaps on a short track. Now, we understand that your Juncos car has some ties with the actual IndyCar team. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? How did you get involved and what is their involvement?
Okay. The real MotorSports team have a eSports division. They founded the division 2 years ago, and we are working a lot to finish in the Road to Pro and the Coca-Cola series. Well, the team is the owner of the real team is an Argentinian, and a lot of the members of the team are Argentinian and international members from United States, Mexico.
It's been fantastic to watch. We love seeing you give a challenge to some of these established heads here, which, speaking of which, you're definitely going to get a lot of points over White, who didn't show, Acosta and Holly, who had a wreck at the very end, shooting you a little bit up the order. How does that make you feel championship-wise, especially now that you've finally gotten that win?
Well, I didn't see what happened with these guys, but well, this championship have a great system to make the fight so interesting. A little difference between position and position in points. This make the championship so funny, and I think I really have possibilities of fight it.
I'd say you do, especially if you put on more performances like that. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to for this win?
Well, to all the team, Juncos Racing, eSports, Juncos Racing, BC Workshop especially, Libres Argentina, Distribuidora Delta, Homer River Plate, and well, my spotter, Coach Dorso, and all the team members who are supporting me a lot.
Great stuff there from Octavio Rondoletto, which now takes us to our second place finisher, Matt Long. DJ's caught up with him.
Well, Matt, Octavio looked like he was absolutely untouchable today, and you kind of had to do some fighting here and there to get yourself back up from 6th, but a heck of a run to get you there. How you feeling after what must have been an exhausting race?
Well, you know what? First of all, I want to apologize to Brad Holly. I know early in the race there, we were racing hard for that position, and I got below him. and there's some bumps there, and just got into the bumps and washed up a little bit into his left rear quarter panel and sent him around. That's not how I like to pass people. So, I want to apologize for that. But other than that, man, it was a heck of a run. I don't think we had a second place car. I know Octavio had a rocket ship up front, but we were lacking a little bit on the long run, to be honest. And, with some tire strategy there and a few adjustments, we were able to kind of work our way up. And luckily enough, the way the cautions fell there at the end helped us stay up front. So overall, good race for us, James Bird Racing for the points and everything. So good run.
Well, most certainly, and I got to ask you, when you're coming into a track like this, I mean, reading those grooves, it looked like that the low line was the way to go. A couple guys making it work on the high line here and there. Did you have a preference, or was it all just kind of about, well, this is where I'm going to have to go?
No, I was locked in on that low line. Honestly, I ran a little bit of practice races and a lot of practice laps, and that's just where my car worked the best and where I was comfortable. I think, some guys, if they can make the top work, it was incredibly hard to pass them if they were fast. So, but no, we were locked and loaded on that low line all race long.
Well, I think it worked well for you, Matt, but I got to ask you, we go from quite possibly the most different tracks on the iRacing service in the next 2 weeks. We go from here to the iRacing Super Speedway. How do you think that's going to go?
I think that's going to be a wild card. I'm just going in looking to have a good time, race with, there's, a lot of team drafting comes into play there with how you work the draft. And, if you guys can make a big difference on the top line or you're making passes. So I'm just looking at it as a fun race and hopefully, I can work well with my teammates and we can make something of it.
Well, we'll be watching for sure, my friend. Anybody you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, just real quick, James Bird and Pebble Isle Marina for being on the car, at, Kentucky Lake, Tennessee there. You guys for putting on a great show every week. I love going back and watching the broadcast and, all the friends and family out there watching too.
Well, thank you very much. That was Matthew Long, your second place finisher. And now Joe Peak has caught up with Robert Besaw Jr.
Indeed. And Rob had his own run-ins with Bradley Holly there twice, making a little bit of light contact with him. First time didn't go so well, Rob. Did that one inform the second attempt?
I'm not sure how many times we got together. It happens. I have trouble passing Brad, even if his car is damaged, because he can drive just about everything. So I'm not sure. I felt like I was below the line. I was just, trying to run my lanes as using those dotted lines. And that first time we got together, I felt like I was down there. I don't know if we actually got together again, but I saw the second time. I think Matt Long got into him, spun him. But yeah, it's hard racing, hard track.
It looked pretty hard. When the cautions started coming in more frequently in the latter part of the race, did that change how you wanted to strategize for this one?
I was just going to follow Octavio to see what he did. I mean, the car was really awesome. Ran really good on the long runs. I didn't have anything for him, but as far as the rest of the field's concerned, I felt like we had a second place car for sure. And I was disappointed with the cautions. I mean, every time they came out, we just kept building pace and building distance between third place, but ended up getting shuffled there and lost the spot, but not going to complain with a third place at all.
The season's already seen 5 different winners. With you kind of hovering around up at the front some of these times, do you think you can toss your name in that hat eventually?
That's a possibility. I mean, it was a great team night, honestly. We qualified first, third, fifth, sixth. I think Mike had a little looped his car around. But other than that, I mean, great qualifying. We had 5 of the top 10 positions. So a great team effort. I think somebody on our team could win any week.
I don't doubt you on that one. Congratulations on the podium. Anybody you want to give a thank you to?
Yeah, absolutely. Just all the guys on the team. Everybody's putting in a lot of great work. We're really helping each other out, getting these setups. Like I said, fast cars tonight. And friends and families that are watching, you guys for putting this on, and PRL as well.
Great stuff. That was Robert Besaw Jr. Third place for him today. And we're going to close out with some thank yous of our own to the sponsors of this series, which include ASR, They design and build the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com. And RaceLab, it helps you to improve your driving skills. Start using it now for free at RaceLab.app. And ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing at thebuttkicker.com. And finally, SimMSA. Find out how you can bridge the gap between virtual and real motorsports at SimMSA.net. As well as NinjaTrader. Visit ninjatrader.com and get started with a risk-free trading simulator to start tracking your performance. Thanks to the team today that provide the software to the companies today that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to June Lalonde, provides our wonderful music. Our Bandcamp is there if you want to check out more work. Thanks to the team as well, DJ Sean and Dougie. You can find out more about our channel here at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. Check out our merchandise store, simracingmerch.com/GSRC. Keep a link in the description below, but don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're down there, because the next race, as was mentioned, is at iRacing Super Speedway. That'll be Sunday, August 1st at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out, mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard. See you on the track.